We hear from Vice President Executive Project Director for Universal Orlando, Russ Dagon, about Cabana Bay Beach Resort on episode 280 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Hi everyone, I'm Tracy. Welcome to the show. On this episode, we step back in time to when Universal Orlando's fourth hotel, Cabana Bay Beach Resort, opened and hear an interview that former UUOP member Eric conducted with Russ Dagon about his work on the Universal Orlando hotels and especially Cabana Bay. So it's over to Eric and Russ.
First, I want to chit-chat about your first work with Universal. So when did you first come on board at the Universal Resort?
I started with Universal in 1997. Okay. Portofino, I think the week I started, we broke ground on Portofino. Yeah. And so the design was done on Portofino. And I was brought in as project manager for what we were calling Hotel B at the time, which became the Hard Rock Hotel.
That's awesome. So you guys were breaking ground. So at that point, the parking lot was gone, right?
Yes.
And the parking structure was kind of under construction?
Yes. Parking structure is under construction. City Walk work was ramping up. Islands of Adventure was in full swing.
Yeah.
A lot of design. I don't remember when they broke ground on that, but it was full swing, definitely.
So what was that feeling like initially when it was going from that first park in a parking lot to this resort complex? What was like the vibe back then?
It was, what's the best way to put it? All-encompassing. Everywhere you went, something was happening.
Yeah.
And you knew you were a part of it, but you didn't feel like you were...
Yeah.
You were a small part of something very, very big that was happening. Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
That's really cool. So you come in and, groundwork's been broken. You begin to project manage the Hard Rock Hotel. Mm-hmm. And so what was that project like, seeing that hotel come to realization?
The Hard Rock, for me, that was my first large project. I came from Chicago, and I came from projects, much smaller projects. So it was, the design budget we had for the Hard Rock Hotel was bigger than the construction budgets I had on other projects. And it was fun because they were such large-scale projects, and you could do so much. Usually when you're doing a project, you look through catalogs to find light fixtures and things like that. And with large-scale projects like that, you could dream up anything, and someone would be willing to build you 650 of them or whatever it was. So the projects were grand in scale, but it was all about trying to capture for Hard Rock. The buzzwords were it's zooty, edgy, chic, cool. We're trying to capture that with the design without being contrived rock and roll as well.
Certainly. So when you saw the initial artwork for Portofino and for Hard Rock and for Royal Pacific, did you think that did it feel like that was something that actually could be realized at the time? Because it's so unlike anything people have really ever seen,
Portofino was the biggest push that, because the hardest thing with looking at the Portofino drawings was trying to figure out when you were inside and when you were outside. When you're outside at Portofino and you look around, it looks like the outside, but there's points where you're inside the building that it looks like a facade as well. So they were just very confusing drawings. Hard Rock Hotel, I was there when we created the artwork for Hard Rock Hotel, so that was a lot of fun to sit in meetings with remarkable design talents, and they would sketch facades and here's how we could do this, and really cool things they'd come up with. And then at the end of the meeting, everyone would just leave, and there'd be these pieces of paper laying around. And each one of them was like suitable for framing. They were all really cool, and at the time I'd never worked with that many talented people. The interiors firm was great. The architects we were working with were amazing talents, and just the sketches they could throw together. It was real exciting.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So looking at kind of like seeing Hard Rock, I know you've shared a story before about how the underwater speakers happened.
Oh yeah. That one was just it came about because we had a meeting with the pool guy that wrapped up, and then the audio. We had a next meeting in the conference room was the audio team coming in. We were going to talk about the building audio, and we jokingly said, they said, can we join you, and the joke was, well, yeah, if you want to put speakers in the pool, join us. And then we said that, and then immediately said, could we do that? And they said, yeah, that's easy to do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that came about.
So what are maybe some other details that you remember about building the Hard Rock that you felt really were either serendipitous or things that you feel like you're really proud of, design aesthetic wise or project wise?
The big thing for Hard Rock was it was the first Hard Rock hotel that was built after Vegas, essentially. Mm-hmm. So our model that we were looking at was a pretty adult hotel. Yeah. I mean, Vegas Hard Rock is a completely different experience than Orlando Hard Rock, and so that was the big challenge: was how do we create an atmosphere that's family friendly and still a Hard Rock hotel? And we kind of took that as Hard Rock is cool. It's not necessarily loud and in your face, but it's just a cool place to be. The other challenge with Hard Rock is it's the closest hotel to any theme park. It's right at the gate. So how do we create a sense of privacy when you're poolside with you've got 20,000, 30,000 guests walking by you right outside the berm? Yeah. How do you give that sense of privacy? So that was one of the challenges there. And then the other thing that we did do, I think, really well at the Hard Rock Hotel was the pool area. We created a pool area that has a single source of energy for that whole property. Yeah. It's not spread out. There's not 3-4 pools. It's if you want to see or be seen, that's the place to go. There's one place, and because of that, if you ever go poolside at the Hard Rock Hotel here, you always have that sense of energy that's there.
No, that's really neat. So then we kind of fast forward to, the resort's built. You've done some really great projects. You've come and you left, and then you've come back, and you begin working on this project that is just massive, Cabana Bay.
Right.
1,800 rooms. So when you first got, obviously Cabana Bay is much different. It's a moderate value property.
Right.
So when you got the scope of the project that Universal was looking at doing that, what did you think of the overall scope when they were looking at it?
Well, we knew we wanted to create different experiences within the same hotel. That 1,800 of the same would have been a little much. Yeah. So the idea of the exterior courtyard rooms versus the interior quarter tower rooms, that's part of the reason for the split. At one point in time, we thought we might phase the development and open up exterior courtyard and then open up the interior later. But when we went back and looked at market research, and then Comcast is aggressive as an owner, that dictated that we went forward with the whole thing at once, which was great for us. And we're seeing the demand here. I mean, it's all proving itself out here pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, that's what we've seen so far when I've had people try to book online and
it's
they're having difficulties finding.
when we get the next 1,200 rooms in the inventory, I mean they're in the inventory now, starting June 16th. But once that opens, we should see people be able to make reservations a little bit easier. It's a great problem to have.
Yes. No, it's an awesome problem.
Yeah.
And so. You did a lot of research, taking the classic kind of Travelodge, A1A,
right.
Beautiful, kind of creating this vintage chic. And so when you create like this vintage chic look, like not making it cheesy, not making it too vintage, but making it, because it's modern and new but old. And so how do you accomplish that?
It was easy. There's a lot of research, and there's a lot of research that's gone into making it appear the way it does, and it's a nice project. So much of what we're trying to do here, because it's a recreation in some ways, you can flip through books and come across something and say, I know how we can use that, or so there's a lot of that. So much of it's trying to capture a feel as well, rather than, Portofino is a place. Hard Rock, you're at the Rockstar's Mansion. It's a place as well. Royal Pacific is kind of capturing a time. It's the golden age of travel. But this was more about capturing a time rather than a place as well. But fortunately for us, there's a lot of architecture that will take you to that place. So we've gotten a lot of comments that our lobby really helped set the tone. That once you walk in, you do understand something, and the background music will help set the tone as well. The cars out front, but it's more than anything, it was just the research that we went through that helped nail it.
So, how long did you guys research?
It never really stopped. I can tell you that I'm trying to remember the timeline. It was about a year of design, and then even when we were under construction, then you're still working on things like furnishings. The operations team level of detail that. Once you get to a point where you've explained it enough to everyone that, they all get it as well, then they're coming with ideas and saying, hey, here's what we think we can do. And so the Zest soap in the room or the Alberto VO5 cream rinse.
So where did the Zest of the VO5 come from?
We had actually designed our own packaging for the soaps and said this is what we think would be neat. And we did some nice vintage stuff. Our graphics package here is fantastic, and the signage package. But we did some designs that we thought were pretty compelling, and we were pitching those to everyone, and they said these are great. And then the operator came in and said, "Hey, we can get these."
Really?
And they're available. And we immediately scrapped what we were doing and said, "That's better. Just do that."
That's awesome.
So there's some of those elements. Food is another one that the food team took it and ran with it and said, we can do the tuna noodle casserole and the Swedish meatballs and all these things that they found, and it's basically
even the candy in Bayliner Diner. That is
that's so
retro.
Awesome.
So it's going, and the drinks are as well. So so there's layers. It's not just architecture. It's music. It's food. It's a little bit of everything.
I completely agree. So, could you share any of the other concepts that were scrapped, like design concepts?
Well, I can't get into too many details, only because nothing was really scrapped.
Fair enough.
So we had some great ideas where we said we really like that, but that would be a better hotel to put in this location or this. So some of it's deferred, just not scrapped. I will tell you that at one point in time, when we were talking about Cabana Bay or what's become Cabana Bay, it was at one point the pitch was, how about a tacky tourist hotel? So it would be Waldrug in South Dakota or Rock City or south of the border in South Carolina. It was kind of those places, and we thought, the family truckster parked out front, and that was the pitch, and it lasted as far as the pitch. It was that's a terrible idea, and I know because I was the one that gave the pitch, and it fell just flat. But then some of the imagery we had when we pitched that, or when I pitched that, was. Okay, it's a bad idea, but I like this, I like this, I like this. And we kind of took that and said, okay, so let's build off this architecture then. One of the things that we knew what our budget was coming in, and we knew what we could deliver well against that budget. So some of it is, knowing that this is your budget, what's a concept that you can deliver very well against that budget, rather than trying to take it to a highly themed environment where you're going to have trouble being compelling. So the idea was, let's keep it simple and let's do the best simple, beautiful that we can.
It doesn't feel simple to me.
No. And I'll be honest, some of it grew, but it was the architecture was so crisp and so clean, and let's just let the architecture be the architecture. Let's celebrate that rather than trying to gack it up and apply things to it.
So looking at the architecture for the towers, it has kind of this wave kind of design with kind of these portholes that go up.
Right.
What is that aesthetic? Or
some of it was trying to give a vocabulary to both the exterior corridor rooms and the interior corridor rooms, something that's consistent. We had this kind of circular idea that we played with in the lobby building. So you'll see outside the lobby there's little applied domes that just provide some sense of fenestration to the building. And then we thought, well, we could do the same thing with the other courtyard and do kind of, and there we did the opposite. It's kind of a Swiss cheese thing where we cut holes in it. And then for the exterior quarter rooms, we did the same thing on the stair towers where there's kind of circular cutouts on the stair towers. So there is that idea of trying to unify everything through that type of pattern.
No, it's interesting. It's a beautiful aesthetic. I think I think it works. And so when you're looking at kind of opening up phase 2, I think what are you most excited for people to experience as part of that phase?
The easy answer should be Lazy River or the pool, but honestly, the bar down there is really cool.
Really?
It's and we'll get you out there soon enough. But it's it's this hideaway lounge, hideaway bar and grill, and it sits below the grade just a little bit, so it's got kind of a grotto feel to it, and then there's rooftop dining area as well. So it just really sits well. And if you sit in there, you just get this kind of panorama view of the pool area that's really contained. It's just it really looks. It just takes a snapshot of exactly what we wanted the guest to experience if you're sitting in that location. Awesome. And it's family friendly. Anyone can go out there, obviously. So
that's great. So looking at now people have been able to experience something that you've been working years on. What has it been like to see people experience this product for you?
There's always things that get. That's the best question to ask, honestly, because it's there's things that you pay a lot of attention to that you obsess over that guests walk by and don't notice, and you think, okay, well, there's that, and then there's things that get put in that guests love that you think, wow, I knew they'd like it, but I didn't think that would be a selling point. So the ladder, the little beach area that we have with the festoon lighting over it, where there's games, there's ping pong and beanbag and hula hoops. That's been a real big success. Likewise, the fire pits have been a big success. That a lot of people will just gather around that. We kind of knew the fire pit would be successful. Not kind of. We knew that would be. We were surprised by how well the games went over, because that wasn't anything that there was a lot of research done on. Water slides are always going to be successful. So again, that's something that we knew. And then there's other things that, to be honest, the hotel, the common areas are designed for 1,800 rooms. And we're only open with 600 yet. So some of it's still too soon to tell. I mean, we're getting some really good tests. We had a number of great nights with the bowling alley already. And we expect that to, once, there's 2/3 of the room have yet to open. So once those come online, that'll be really popular.
No, the bowling alley was really fun. It's we had a really fun night. Drinks were fun up there.
Okay.
It was a great place just to be and to hang, and I think that's what I've kind of learned here, is that there's a lot of fun places just to be, and so I guess in this world that you've created, what's the place where you find yourself most comfortable as far as where you like to just be?
I haven't spent. There's a lot of guests that have spent more time in the hotel in recent weeks since it's been open than I have. Poolside cabanas are very nice. I did spend one day out there, and that was very relaxing. I guess another surprise to me that we knew Starbucks would be great in the morning. We knew there'd be, everyone needs a Starbucks fix or what have you. The thing that's surprising to me is I've yet to walk by that space and see it empty. I mean, midday, any time of day, there's been someone in there, which has been a pleasant surprise. I expected there to be times when people weren't gathering and drinking coffee, but that hasn't happened.
It's a beautiful little location, too.
Yeah. There's a lot of nice little respites. I think, again, with the with the additional rooms coming online, I think the food court will get a lot more use going forward. I don't know that we've had a time yet where we've had to open the whole food court.
Yeah.
I haven't been here every morning for breakfast, but that's something that should start to get the use now as well.
No, it's exciting. So, you guys have the pedestrian bridge under construction right now.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have these beautiful buses that you've designed. And so I guess, come this summer with 1,200 rooms, with 1,800 rooms, like what do you want people to experience? What do you want them to take home from Cabana Bay, a week at Cabana Bay?
The big thing here is and I've said this before, but this is a hotel that you can navigate as a family. That there's not a divide and conquer mentality here. There will be some divide and conquer with the game room. Not every adult is going to want to spend a lot of time in the game room, but that's probably the only area that's more for children than anything. But everything else here is, experience the pool as a group, experience the restaurant as a group. So we've got that built into the design, which is great. And it works well with the whole campus. I mean, that was the idea as well, that you're at the theme park as a family. I've had one family tell me that the thing they liked about the bowling alley was it avoided them a meltdown at the park. When they told their kids they've got to go back to the hotel, the kids said, "Are we still bowling tonight?" And they said, "Yes." And they said, "Okay, let's go." So it was, that's a nice to have, that there's something interesting to do back at the hotel that avoids the scene.
No, fair enough. I know with my nephew, I just want to with my nephew, he's a busy boy. He's hard to take out of the parks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Especially with that fountain in City Walk.
Oh yeah. Because you know what? The kids don't want to feel they're going to miss something.
Yes.
So pulling away from a fountain, and it's one of the things too with this hotel is that people, the length of stay is longer at this hotel than a lot of hotels because of the price point. And what that means is when you go to the theme park, if you're going to be back to the theme park for multiple days, you don't feel you need to experience it all in one day. The number of times you've seen it, I'm sure. I mean, you're in this business, you get it. People will go to the theme park, ride a ride, they'll get off the ride, the kids will say, "That's great, can we do it again?" And the parents will say, "No, we've got to go to the next one."
Yeah.
And the kids would be content to do things more than once and do it multiple times. When you're going back to the park on multiple days, you get to do that. You get to say, "Okay, ride that as many times as you want. We don't have to knock it all out today," which is nice. So
theme park death march is what I call it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And you've seen it. You see it plays out day after day where you can walk by people. And I don't speak Italian, but I've seen Italian families having conversations, and I think I know exactly what they're talking about. Right?
No, you're completely right. And I think. And so I guess when you look at like the affordability of Cabana Bay and how it's positioned in the market, along, with what you can do in the parks, like, what if you were to build a vacation for someone, like being as intimate with the product as you are, if you say like this is how I think you should experience a Universal Resort, what does that experience look like?
It depends on what kind of experience you're looking to do. If you've got a couple days and you really want. That deluxe experience where you want the front of the line and what have you. Hard Rock, Portofino, Royal Pacific are great offerings.
We were like middle of the road family from Idaho, for instance, coming down on your once in a lifetime vacation, and we would decide that Universal's the place. Like if you were to build an itinerary for my parents, which was like us and 4 kids, like.
Well, that's the one thing that I would say that Cabana Bay really has to offer is that we do have a room that sleeps 6. In most hotels, if you have 6 guests, you're getting 2 rooms with a connecting door or something like that. That's one thing that this property is going to have to offer that you're not going to get at most other hotels without getting into a more expensive suite product. The other thing that Cabana Bay has to offer, I'm not even going to limit this to Cabana Bay. All of our properties have great pool experiences. So it's not we're going to do the theme park for 2 days and not experience the hotel. I mean, the hotels are destinations in and of themselves, and so you have to plan at least one day of just relaxing poolside and really enjoying and taking advantage of everything that all the hotels have to offer. I mean, Portofino has great pools. And Portofino, again, without knowing about your family from Idaho and ages at this point in time, I mean, Portofino has pools that are high energy, as well as very tranquil pools. I mean, if you're a couple and you just want to relax and not have screaming kids everywhere, Portofino has that to offer. Hard Rock has high energy pools. If you're traveling with teenagers, it's a great experience. Royal Pacific similarly has one very high energy pool, probably not even as high energy as Hard Rock though. I mean, the music's a little more tranquil out there, and there's landscaping where you can kind of escape for a little bit. Cabana Bay, multiple pool offerings, but all of them are family friendly. It's not there's not a
quiet pool,
a quiet pool where you're going to just get away here. At least we don't believe so. We'll see how that south courtyard, when that opens, what that looks like. But but again, there is something for everyone. I've been surprised because we do have a lot of couples that have stayed at the hotel as well at Cabana Bay, and part of that's just the price point works for them. But we've seen a lot of couples knowing about it, and that's we'll take it. That's a nice to have.
Doesn't listening to the crew at UUOP every week make you wish that you were actually at Universal Orlando Resort? Well, stop wishing and start doing. Mouse and Muggle Travel Company is the perfect place to begin. Their team of concierge-level travel planners will help you every step of the way. And for you Muggles who also love the mouse, their team of experts specialize in Disney destinations too. And the best part of all, their services are free to you. So, if you're ready to plan your next Disney or Universal vacation, let Mouse and Muggle Travel Company do all the work for you. Just go to mouseandmuggle.com and fill out a no-obligation quote request. Or send an email to info@mouseandmuggle.com. And remember, whether you're a mouse or a muggle, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company can help make your next vacation simply magical.
No, it's pretty incredible. Again, the feedback I keep on getting is people really love this hotel. I love this hotel. It's the first hotel in a long time I've kind of obsessed over, just because aesthetically, it appeals to me, it's not tacky, it's not overly done, it's conveniently located, and so for me, there's a lot of benefits.
I think one of the big things that I've had someone tell me that we don't talk down to the guests, which I think is key, that we are a moderately priced hotel, but we're not saying because you're moderately priced, you don't deserve this or you don't deserve that. Our amenities are top notch. The experience is top notch. Everything here, there are some places where we don't have valet and we don't have the front of the line park for the day, and we can talk around that all we want. But those are things that you don't have at this property. And if you want those services, we've got 3 other hotels that offer those. We find that our guests have kind of they're asking for this. They're asking, that's not of as much value to me, and I want the experience, but I don't want to pay the price that comes with. So,
if you can save a few more days, it's
exactly. Internationally, we're very popular with an international marketplace because the length of stay tends to be a little bit longer. So both the UK and Latin America, we're seeing a lot of demand there, which is great. And that was one of the things too. This is a throwback American destination, and that was one of our big questions coming in. Okay, this might resonate with some people from the U.S. that may remember this, or Canada, but will someone from Brazil or someone from the UK appreciate it? And because of the American movie industry, basically, they've all seen this in some way, shape, or form. They all feel it sounds or seems familiar to them.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's really fascinating.
Yeah, we we knew it would do well. We didn't know why, essentially.
Yeah.
And I've had a number of people tell me, travel writers from the UK have told me that, oh yeah, everyone gets it.
No, it's this atrium is just beautiful.
Oh yeah.
It's just, it's crazy. It's just
that one. There's a couple things here, like the atrium was one that, again, the Lowe's Americana was the inspiration for the atrium, and Jonathan Tish, from the chairman of Lowe's Hotels, when we showed it to him initially, he said, "Oh, here's what I remember about that."
Yeah.
He had great family stories, and he remembered as an 8-year-old.
Really?
And so when we took artistic license with it, though, and we knew we were going to do that. So there was a lot of nervousness about that. When my real fear was he would come down and say, "Oh, I thought it was going to have whatever, glass or whatever, something," and we did a decent enough job describing it to him so that when he came down, he just said, "I love it. That's perfect."
That's awesome.
We all breathed a giant sigh of relief.
So the Americana had glass around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it had a stairway. Apparently, it had a second floor, and it had a stairway that kind of circled around.
Oh, really?
it. Yeah, but Jonathan was down, and his cousin, is it James?
James
Was with him, and they were arguing about. Not arguing, but they were having a conversation about, well, was the angle, was it more pitched or less pitched? And they went back and forth, and it was fun to watch, but they both loved it, so we didn't have to worry. But
that's awesome.
But it's close enough that they were remembering key aspects of it. It was neat to see.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And so I guess when you look at the hotel as a whole, what do you feel most proud of?
It's the team that put it together. I know that's the easy answer, but the team that put it together really gelled very well, and we had part of the way we were able to do that was we assembled a team of a very inexperienced team, if you will, a lot of people that hadn't done large scale hotel work in the past. So it was one of those situations where you could ask people to do things and they didn't know any better. Then, oh, okay, I guess that's the way you do things. So that helped, as strange as that sounds.
No, I get it.
So I'm very proud of the team. I'm very proud of, and that goes beyond just Universal. It's the Lowe's team. It's the general contractor, the designers, everyone. Physically in the property, I'm very proud of the fact that what we drew early on, we kept throughout the whole project. I mean, so often you work on a project and you'll draw things and you'll think, I know when it comes down to budget or something, that's going to get erased. And there's things that you draw where you just think, we're only drawing this so we have something to erase later on. Yeah. This didn't have that. We kind of knew when we were drawing everything, look, there's a real strong possibility that everything we draw is going to stay. Yeah. And then we tried to have, to the maximum extent we could, everything we drew had to have a function, because if it has a function, you can't erase it, right? Certainly.
Actually, that's because I've heard from other theme park designers that you give the red herring thing to
this will be my sacrificial element. And
and so you felt like you kind of got away from that because you gave everything a function, or
I mean, I would say, with the possible exception of the terrarium, everything out here is structural. I mean, we can't do away with the awnings because they provide shade and they provide a place to drop off cars under rain. Everything out here really has a purpose. So it's a little tough to erase.
No, that's great when design meets functionality harmoniously.
Yes.
Because I've heard horror stories when people fall in love with red herrings, and then that's what gets. Well,
and then there's sometimes too where you don't build it. You say, well, we'll add that later. And if and I worked on a project when I lived in Seattle, and it was built. It was built as a bare bone structure with the idea that someday we're going to add all these elements. And there are all these great elements that were supposed to be added to this structure. Well, I was there after the structure was already there for 25 years, and they were tearing it down, and they never added any of this stuff. Really? So, so you want to work on something that is meaningful, and there's a lot of great elements that made it all the way through the design and construction process, and I can't really think of any that we we axed for budgetary reasons or anything like that.
That's pretty incredible to hear, actually. But like I said, I think it comes down to giving everything a function. Because I don't know, but when I look at like the aesthetics of like all this, like the cutout with the chandelier hanging through, like it's all just so it's beautiful.
It's a very, very, very elegant mom and pop motel on steroids. It's
mom and pop with 1,800 rooms.
That's one of the things that we are. We're always talking about other projects around here, and at one point someone said, well, maybe we should do just a boutique hotel, 400 or 500 rooms and something really boutique, and that was kind of the joke that at this point 400 or 500 rooms is boutique. That doesn't make any sense. So let's not fool ourselves. It's not boutique, but that is a key point though, is that as big as it is, your experience isn't. You're not experiencing the full 1,800 rooms when you're here. You're experiencing the public space and your guest room.
Yeah.
So much of the square footage in this place is not important to you because you're worried with your room and the public space. And
definitely.
And so again, we have very well appointed guest rooms, and then the public spaces are everything you'd expect and more.
So, how did the design of the guest rooms work? Like, what was that process like? Did you do a full build of the guest rooms off-site?
Oh, yeah. We actually started with the guest rooms here. We have been researching, what our next guest room would be for years.
Yeah.
So there's a team. There's a team of people within Universal that work on the existing hotels. A gentleman named Randy Mariano does all the capital improvements for the existing hotels. And Randy years ago had developed a module that said this is what we'd like to use on a future hotel.
Yeah.
So when I was tasked with designing the hotel, we started with that and said, well, here it is. We've got this figured out.
Yeah.
And then there was some minor tweaks. We brought an architect in and showed him what we were thinking, and it got moved and massaged just a little bit, but it was pretty straightforward. But we started there. We started with that, and then we built a mock-up in a warehouse.
Yeah.
We built a full-scale mock-up, and then tested things out to make sure it functioned properly, and we had outlets in the right place.
Yeah.
The sliding door, making sure that we could make that work.
Wow.
The biggest thing was the bathroom compartment, though, making sure that functioned well. And then and we played with that TV surround for months. I mean, we had virtually everything in the room approved, and we couldn't come up with a design on the TV surround that we really liked.
Yeah.
And then finally it was, let's just do a simple frame, and we really liked that once we finally got there.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
So you had this mock-up of a room in a warehouse.
Yeah.
So did you have the suite and the standard room mock-up in the warehouse?
We did. We initially did 2 suites side by side, and then said, okay, this is great. And then it evolved into, well, what about the other rooms? Okay, we'll build those too.
So were they kind of built almost like a set?
Yes, two of them, and then we do the hallway out in front as well. So it's actually fairly common in the hotel industry to do that, but we were able to get it done really early in the process and get everything approved. Furnishings, you do it for a number of reasons. You do it for construction purposes, making sure everything you're talking about you can construct. You're doing it for marketing purposes. You want to be able to take a photo of that room and say to people, this is what we've got coming.
Yeah.
And then the third reason to do it is for furnishings, to test and vet out all your furnishings. To say, okay, we like this chair by this manufacturer that we found more than the one that was interpreted by another manufacturer.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah. That's always a battle, too, because everyone thinks it's built solely for them. So marketing thinks it's their room. Construction guys think it's theirs.
Their room.
Yes, everyone's got their own little tours walking through, and at some point you're trying to change out outlets or something like that, and people are saying, you can't do that because we're taking pictures that day.
That's so interesting. That's so crazy to think about this warehouse just with random hotel rooms inside of it.
Yeah, and they're around town. I mean, some of that, ours was a little place off LB McLeod.
Yeah.
And in the past, we built them down on Exchange Drive.
Yeah.
We would like to do them closer to the site just so we don't have to drive. But
yeah, that's what it is.
Everyone would.
It must become unreal, So I guess kind of maybe to wrap things up, again, really looking at, watching Universal go from the single theme park with, everything, piles of sand and you coming in and doing the Hard Rock, to seeing this open and now like a whole slate of other things coming down in the future. What do you feel about your body of work? Like, what do you most, what do you feel when you see like your families planning vacations?
It's right when you came in, there's a family friend of ours that's in town, and I'm proud to say that she went online, saw the hotel, and booked it, and never talked to me about it. Yeah, and that was kind of neat to have friends of mine booking hotel rooms and saying, "Oh, you worked on that?" That's really kind of cool. I lived in Hawaii at a time when all my friends were getting married. Yeah, and so people would on their honeymoon, they're all, "Hey, as long as we're here, we should stop by and say hi." And so I saw all those friends in Hawaii when I lived there, and now to see them coming to Orlando with their kids and stopping by and saying, "Hey, kids are all 15 now," and so I guess it's great to see people enjoy the product. That's the bottom line. You don't want to work on these things and then have it fall flat or no one to appreciate it, and just to see it get the use, and it's a great experience to hand it off to the operators and have them take it to a level that you hadn't even thought of, because I don't know how to operate a hotel. I mean, I work with the operators, and they tell me what adjacencies they need, from this room needs to be near this room because this is how we move dishes or this is how we move laundry. I understand that, but what I don't get into is, here's how this person does their job, and then people kind of make it their own, and they take things to another level. Yeah, that's neat to see.
That's cool. So looking at the future for us, for you, obviously you can't tell us what you're working on, but are you excited about the future?
Oh yeah. Yes, very excited about the future. Comcast has been very, very good to us. We've got plans that we're perpetually updating. Here's Universal in 5 years. Here's Universal in 10 years, and every time we review those plans, it's a great time to be here. It really is. It should be a tagline, but it's.
So one more question, I guess. So to all of our fans or people who are future theme park industry people, why do you think Universal is the place to hang your hat versus anywhere else?
Anywhere else?
No one else.
I don't know where that would be. I'll tell you what I like about working for Universal. Universal is we are not a very vertical organization, so creative decisions are made, and they're made quickly, which is great. And we can do things very quickly because of the fact that that we're not very bureaucratic. I say that there's obviously things in any job that have some sort of bureaucracy or process, but Universal is we're aggressive, and anyone with intelligence and drive can get a lot done here, which is great. And I'll take that. Take your question. I years ago, I had an uncle that was in the theme park industry on the music side, and I was blown away by what can take place in this industry, and then I kind of forgot about it for years, and then I found myself sitting in an interview with Universal, and they're describing this position to me, and I thought, oh my God, I remember thinking I wanted to do this when I was in third grade, and now I'm here. In some ways I stumbled into this job, but it's been a lot of fun. It's creative, it's technical, it's project management, and you get to touch on everything. From this buying classic cars to sitting with structural engineers, meeting with civil engineers, talking to the city of Orlando about permits. picking out playlists for music. I mean, all these things that you get to touch on. It's a fun place to be.
No, that's incredible. I think again for your time. And just real quick, your official title on this project was
VP/Executive Project Director.
Okay, perfect.
Well, that wraps up another unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Thanks for listening. Between shows, please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes. It really helps. But if you're not an Apple user, you can find us on Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, or wherever great podcasts are found. Head over to our blog at uuopodcast.com for show notes, articles, and more. You can get in touch with us by emailing podcast@uuopodcast.com or leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/uuopodcast. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. Just search UUO Podcast. And if you're planning a trip to Universal Orlando or Walt Disney World, please check out our sponsors by going to mouseandmuggle.com to book your next trip. Well, that's a wrap. See you next week.